What's going on, FA Nation? Welcome to the Fantasy Slam DFS NBA live stream. John Impemba here with James Grande and Steve Pimentel producing the whole crew's here, James, for Thursday's 6th game DFS NBA main slate all day. I'm sure everybody's been paying attention to their March Madness brackets going on.
Right.
But right now, it's the real basketball. It's the NBA. We got a DFS slate to get to.
Yeah, no Zion today, so I took today off. I focused on some NBA. So I'm raring to go. Another slate full of injuries. Just so we know, just so everyone knows, this is going to be how it is the remainder of the season. People are going to be ruled out for the remainder of the year. Yep. People are going to be ruled out when they aren't even hurt. They don't care to win anymore. Just be prepared for everything to turn completely 360, and someone you might have liked in the morning is ruled out and you like their backup. So just
Kyrie has been getting blasted by Boston media over the last 2 days because he said he definitely plans on taking games off before the playoff starts. But they're like, but Kyrie, Boston is chasing, the 4 and 3 seeds. He's like, I plan on missing games before the season ends. So yeah, these guys should be sitting out. They don't care. They want to get ready for the playoffs. So you just got, like you said, you got to be ready.
And people that just aren't going to make the playoffs, such as the T-Wolves, who said, you know what, we're not mathematically eliminated, even though we're 8 games under 500, but we're just going to rule Jeff Teague, Derrick Rose, Robert Covington out for the rest of the year, so we don't have to worry about them. You sent an interesting note about Karl-Anthony Towns and Tyus Jones today. They're both, banged up.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it today, but long term, I'm definitely worried about it, when they're officially ruled out, because they're not giving up until then. Darren Collison ruled out tonight. I mean, Indiana plays well with him, plays well without him. They're just a very well-rounded team. Corey Joseph, very good.
They've
defender.
survived no Oladipo.
They have done just that, and that's because Konstantinovic has been so good offensively. Tim Hardaway Jr. was just ruled out not too long ago. Maxi Kleber is now upgraded to probable. We have Trevor Ariza, who's ruled out. We have Cody Zeller, who is ruled out. Taj Gibson, who is ruled out. Kelly Oubre is done for the year. DeMarcus Cousins is going to play. So there's been a lot of moving parts today. Rashawn Holmes is going to play today. So there's been a lot of moving parts today. But, let's head over to Vegas, where we have some big totals.
Good totals.
The first 4 games of the slate tonight are over 220. We have Dallas, Sacramento. I said on the podcast I thought it was going to get into double digits there. Almost got there. It got to 9. It's 230. That's the biggest total we have. And then Denver, Washington. I don't know if you saw that line. Yeah. It's now up to 8.5. It started at 5. So we've moved 3.5 points. Washington
because they don't know about Troy Brown Jr.
They do not know about Troy Brown Jr. yet. They do not know. I mean, the industry now knows about Troy Brown Jr. He's starting at his min-salary. So even if you didn't know him, even if you have no clue who he is, never seen him play basketball,
if you watched his live stream yesterday, though, you knew about him because
absolutely true. And if you listen to podcasts, we spend a lot of time talking about Troy Brown Jr. But those are the only 2 really high totals. The 2 late night hammers are scary. They're both under 220, and Golden State 11-point favorites without going up against Indiana without Darren Collison. So that's a more of a GPP game for me.
Yep. James, before we get going here, talk about the deals we got going on here at Fantasyland. Of course, we have the lifetime membership still available right now. Only a limited number of lifetime memberships, though. However, if you buy right now, you get the MLB Draft Guide, Jim Bowden's MLB Draft Guide, the Ultimate Cheat Sheet, plus 5,000 features, 35 seasonal and DFS tools, plus live chat. We also cover 11 other sports, including the NBA. Go to fantasyland.com/forever. Use promo code MADNESS to get 25% off the already low price. Currently, it's $297. You get 25% off of that. Even cheaper to become a member for life. Never have to buy any of the playbooks again. Get all the content that's included forever. So what are you waiting for? Check it out. Go buy it. It's a great deal.
Speaking of baseball, I just want to say it's been a pleasure watching Ichiro Suzuki play, break records. I mean, one of the best hitters that we've ever seen in our lifetime, probably that we're going to see all time. So today was his last game. It was super emotional. one of those like I'm not crying, you're crying moments when you saw him leave the field. The Mariners came off. That was really special. So little tribute to one of the GOATs as
he has what, like 6,000 hits between the two leagues, something absurd. So Ichiro, obviously a great player of his time. Good to see him get like that send off in Japan. I feel like the MLB obviously like set that up for him, after the way things were going. So it worked out well. Let him retire there, and he'll be a Hall of Famer in 5 years for sure. Because there's nothing you can say bad about that guy. So
right.
But let's get to it. So we got 6 games here. We'll start at your playbook. Point guard position here. It's kind of a mix and match of some value, some guys that you and I both like. Your top price guys that you have on here. You have Kemba Walker. De'Aaron Fox. For me, I focused a lot on De'Aaron Fox on the podcast. For me, he's still the top point guard overall play. Why don't you talk about some of the other guys you have listed here, though?
Yeah, per dollar, Fox is arguably probably the best play, especially over on DraftKings where he's only 7.5. I love Kemba for tournaments. I mean, Charlotte's falling out of things in the playoff hunt, and if they're going to get in, they need Kemba to be Kemba. They need a ceiling game. We know he's very volatile for cash, but the ceiling games win us money. So for tournaments, Kemba's an elite play. I don't love Steph Curry. I wrote, if you looked at the playbook, and at the top, I literally just wrote Warriors and then dash GPPs because that's how I feel about all of the Warriors tonight. I'm not using any of them in cash. I don't want anyone in cash. They're all healthy. They're all playing. Don't need to do it. Trae Young, another guy I'm totally willing to use in tournaments only given, Utah's a good defensive team. And we don't know it. Like, yes, we've been sitting here and saying Atlanta's been better at home, and they have been. They have kept games closer at home, but we don't need to force it. Going down to the middle tier, I don't really think anyone else at the top. There isn't really any other top options. I think Jalen Brunson is an intriguing tournament play. He's playing 30 minutes every night. It's 30 minutes, 39 minutes. Now Tim Hardaway's off the floor. Maybe some more shot attempts open up for Jalen Brunson. I'm a little worried about the Mavs as a whole because Rick Carlisle is such a psychopath. He played 13 guys last night. What's he going to do on the second leg of a back-to-back?
Sure.
I can't even imagine. So tournaments only. Jamal Murray is an elite tournament play tonight. They have the highest implied total on the board, and we were kind of talking about that last night where we want to attack Denver in tournaments. And I think there's some certain guys you can use in cash like Jokic, but a lot of them are tournament plays because they're a pretty good team overall, and you don't know where the production's going to come. Where Jokic is going to get, Jokic is going to get his, and then everyone else, kind of on a night-to-night basis, might be Murray's night, it might be Barton's night, it might be Millsap's night. So I think Murray's an elite tournament play. And then I kind of said it to you off air about Ricky Rubio versus Tyus Jones. And that's kind of been my biggest issue today. I prefer Tyus on FanDuel just because he fits the builds better, and I don't love Rubio at 6'6", but Rubio at 5'2" is really intriguing considering Atlanta ranks 30th against point guards. They're the fastest paced team in the NBA, which means Utah's getting a huge bump up, and their implied total is about 5 points higher than their seasonal total. So everything points to Rubio. But if this game blows out, and I asked you, I said, if you had $1 million to bet on which game stays close, would it be the Minnesota-Charlotte game or Utah-Atlanta? And you said Charlotte-Minnesota, which I believe too, and that kind of feels, and that's why I lean Tyus in cash and Rubio in tournaments. But I think Rubio's a pivot in cash off Tyus as well.
Yeah, I just like the upside of facing Atlanta.
Right.
They're terrible defensively. Rubio had good success against them early in the year, and I know he played a lot of minutes in that game, and he's probably only going to play 28 to 30, but you only need 20 to 30 minutes against Trae Young to go off and have a big game. Rubio still fills up the stat sheet when he's on the floor. He's given us pretty much 30 fantasy points every time he steps out there. I just think he's a safe play regardless of potential blowouts here. It's probably not going to stay close, but you pointed out, as you said, Atlanta tends to play closer games at home. So, GBP only for sure. The rest of your calls, overall I agree with. It's a smaller slate, so there aren't as many options, and it's not like last night where there's just value upon value upon value. So I do think the choices to pick here are a little bit slimmer, and the guys you've talked about, I definitely will agree with you on. As we go to shooting guard, with top guy you have listed not in the playbook, but at the top you have Luka Doncic. What do you think about the fact that there's no Tim Hardaway Jr. now? Does he become more of a focal point for you if you're going to go with Dallas here?
I do want to just throw Corey Joseph into the player pool. Not that I love Corey Joseph, but he's going to start again. If you want to do it, he's like mid-salary, whatever. Doncic is – it's a tournament play, and everyone on Dallas tonight is a tournament play just because the uncertainty of what Carlisle is going to do. And I don't think there's I think we know kind of what we're getting with Luka. I don't think there's like a development stage with him. Like, he's a star already. Mm-hmm. Yes, he can get better, but like if he's at all injured playing a second night of back-to-back, like I don't know if they need to push it. Tournaments are fine.
Pushing it given the fact that he was, sort of limited. I mean, 29 minutes, usually plays, 35, 36. The numbers are still there. So, I mean, I get you. I understand the back-to-back narrative.
It's more of a tournament play. I mean, again, all Mavs are tournaments. I'd rather play like a Devin Booker in cash. I'd think about playing Donovan Mitchell in cash considering his matchup. But again, it's kind of the same argument as Rubio. Like, do we want to do it in cash? I don't know, but I think Booker's really, really safe for cash. Okay. I think Andrew Wiggins is really safe for cash tonight. And I don't love saying that out loud. And I don't even want to say it again, but we saw it the other night with all these guys out. And now there's no Taj, which, could a few more rebounds here and there. Maybe they all go to Towns. Maybe they go to Wiggins again, but we've always waited for the peripherals for Wiggins. 8 rebounds, 6 assists last game. I mean, he's really cheap across the industry too. So I think Wiggins is another guy I'd use in cash.
Yeah, another guy you and I are focusing on a lot here, Jeremy Lamb. Yep. Strong off the bench for Charlotte right now. Playing really well. Again, of late, even so, 29 minutes against Philadelphia, went for 46 fantasy points. Last 3 games, 36, 34, 46. So the price tag's jumped up on him. But, I mean, the man is really playing some of the best basketball we've seen from him in a long time right now, really filling in well off the bench. Yeah,
and, like, last night you said, like, holy crap, Jeremy Lamb, 7K. And then you said it again today, but, like, he's been worth it the last 3 games. He's been 35 fantasy points or more. It's a tournament play only because it's Jeremy Lamb, and there's extreme volatility in Jeremy Lamb. Sometimes we might just get 15 actual points and then, like, literally nothing else. So there's obviously volatility with him, but I do think he's a very good tournament play. I suspect Wiggins is a little popular tonight. He's been pretty popular when these guys have been out in the past. Lamb's definitely a nice pivot off of Andrew Wiggins.
What other shooting guards are you targeting? Any value guys you should know about?
Value. Josh Okogie would be my value guy. Last 2 games, there's been a path for him. 30-plus minutes, and he's gotten 19 and 21 actual points. Do I think he's like a lock and load value play? No, because there's really good value at a position that we're going to get to next.
Sure.
But I don't think he's something that we should just write off. I mean, he was drafted by them, and he's gone for 33 and 34 fantasy points. They're looking to develop the guy. Charlotte's an exploitable team. There's no reason not to like Okogie. We didn't mention Bradley Beal, but, I mean, his price went down on DraftKings, and yes, the matchup is tougher, but the last 2 back-to-backs, Bradley Beal has gone for 60-plus fantasy points. And I'm not saying he's going to go for 60 again tonight, but if the trend continues, hey, don't say I didn't tell you so. So I think Bradley Beal can be, even though it's 8.5, I think he still can be used in all formats. Like you said, it's at home, so hopefully this game can remain close.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else? You want to move to small forward here?
Gary Harris is another value play that we could throw in there. He's playing like 30 minutes. 3 of his last 4, he's been over 20 fantasy points. I believe he's small forward on FanDuel, which is wrong, but it is what it is. Like, how is Will Barton and Gary Harris both small forward?
They haven't really touched anything over on FanDuel despite my pleas to adjust, the positionals that some of these guys playing. And they don't care. Season's almost over. They'll fix it probably next year, and then we'll have to go a whole year with guys not in the correct position. But You talked about some value there. Let's just talk about the chalk play of the night over at small forwards, Troy Brown Jr. Again, we mentioned him at the start off the show. I brought him up briefly yesterday as a guy that someone should be worth watching. And then Ariza goes out, gets hurt. He comes off the bench, plays 30 minutes, almost gets a double-double. This is a guy that, last time he only took 5 shots in 30 minutes. Typically, he's taking, 6, 7, 8 shots in 15 to 20 minutes when he's on the floor off the bench. So I think there could be more room for offensive upside tonight of him. And he's just an active young kid, too. So you got to take advantage of, those fresh legs, the athleticism that he brings to the table. So everybody's going to be on him because he's been priced on FanDuel, $3,100 on DraftKings. But, it's chalk you can't really fade, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the 2 chalkiest plays, at least over on DraftKings, are going to be Brown and Tyreke Evans, because Evans' price didn't get bumped up at all. And I know, he's 11-point spread, and they're playing the Warriors, and yada, yada, yada. But we saw a glimpse of Tyreke that from years past in the last game. And if that's going to be the Tyreke that we get, they're going to only play Corey Joseph 20 minutes, and Tyreek's going to be the guy. Plus, I think they need his scoring. Going down the stretch, yes, they've been able to remain this very, very good team in a really strong conference now. The top 5 teams are very good. And they need the scoring. They have no Oladipo. So I think they're looking to get Tyreke more active. And if this game stays close, I think he could be a pivotal role.
He was a slate breaker at times last year for Memphis.
Off the bench too. In the same role he's in tonight.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, just hasn't been able to translate. This year for one reason or another. But again, this is an opportunity for him to kind of jump back onto it. What other small forwards do you like tonight?
I don't love the position. I said to you before we got on air, I almost wish Trevor Ariza was playing for Jabari Parker's sake, because I wanted the ownership to be depressed. Now we still only have him at 6%, but this was prior to the Ariza news. So my thinking is Jabari becomes pretty chalky considering what he's done, what he's doing, how good he's playing. Plus, if this game blows out, like you said, the other day they were in a blowout. He was in the game, getting all of the
he played until the final 2 minutes. Now, I don't know if that would necessarily happen tonight because Ariza's out. They may be relying on him for more minutes, and maybe they'll go in a different direction and they'll leave Troy Brown out there for longer, and maybe. So but it was funny to see in the scrubs that he was out there with Chasing Randall, Jordan McRae. I didn't even know was still in the league. Yamahini actually got some run, and it was Jabari
Sam
Parker.
Decker and Sam Decker.
And then it was Jabari Parker. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, and I've said this on the podcast and probably in the live stream too. It seems like only myself and then you the other night were playing Jabari Parker despite the run he was on. Everybody was just ignoring the fact that he was putting up 35 plus fantasy points for a week. I'm expecting much higher ownership on him tonight, but I don't think that makes him a bad play. So
no, it wasn't ever saying a bad play, but just so we can, us and FA Nation can keep him a secret, because even though like you said, he's going for 35 every night, nobody was playing him. Somebody was missing something, and now with Ariza, he's just brought into the spotlight more. So I was just wishful thinking, but it also opens up the Brown value. So I'm not mad about it. Will Barton, another tournament play. He's been good offensively, 17 and 20 actual points in his last 2 games. That's encouraging because this is a guy we've seen kind of break slates in the past. It's a GPP play only, but he can break slates. And I think Jae Crowder is a pretty solid play. I don't know how they do, how they use Derek Favors on a back-to-back. I was looking at Derek Favors' minutes, and he doesn't take big hits on second legs of back-to-backs. But Crowder
he's coming off that hamstring, so maybe they rest him a little bit.
Right, and that's kind of what I mentioned in Crowder's write-up, because he is not only that his knees are bad, now there's another injury involved.
Right.
This game really necessary for Favors? You have guys like Crowder, you have Kyle Korver who can play backup. You have Royce O'Neal who can back it up. So I just think that this might be a Jae Crowder 30-minute game, and that's why. And I have, again, if you were wondering, Kevin Durant, why didn't you mention him? Again, Warriors, go to the top of the playbook. Yep. Warriors -GPPs. Boom, that's where your Kevin Durant exposure is.
It's written up there. So no, I agree with you. I wish it wasn't that way because any one of those Warriors are going to go off, and you just you got to figure out which one it's going to be. Over at power forward, we kind of maybe theorized that Andre Drummond would get ruled out, and that would put a lot of value up on Blake. $7,800 and $8,400, very cheap. The matchup for him is very good. I just worry, the fact that we haven't seen a peak performance out of him in a while now, and Drummond's just been dominating. So as long as Drummond's in the lineup, I'm not sure I can really go there. But I know you mentioned, elite matchup for him. Does Drummond being in the lineup tonight bother you with Blake?
I mean, we've been talking about Blake price point for 2 weeks now, and he's still not getting there.
He's got the Markkinen effect. It's like Markkinen was $9K, and he's all the way down to $7, whatever, because Levine's healthy and Ford, all those guys came back, and Markkinen hasn't been as dominating. Griffin, it's not really that anything's changed in their rotation. I think it's just that Drummond's just become more dominant. He's just doing more. So
I mean, it obviously is encouraging considering he's going to be guarded by the likes of Dragon Bender, Rashawn Holmes, and at times Josh Jackson. So if you want to play that card, sure. That's probably why they're 27th over the last month against power forwards. But it's not something I'm forcing into my lineups. If my lineup ends up with 7.8K, 8.4, and I need a power forward or a forward, sure. But I'm not actively pursuing Blake. But again, if for some reason it's a 10 o'clock game, if Drummond just happens to get ruled out and where it's, you're on DraftKings, definitely a strong pivot is Blake Griffin, 100% a strong pivot.
Yeah, I agree with you. What other power forwards at the top? Me personally, I'm all in on Marvin Bagley tonight. I know he played 29 minutes the other night against Brooklyn. I wish I had known that because I would have played him. He dominated. He's getting the most of the minutes in that front court. You see, Cauley Stein's been depleted. Bielitz has been down. There's no, Harrison Barnes is fine, but Bagley is a guy that was playing 35 plus minutes before the injury, dominating. He's been priced down a little bit because of that injury. I think we have to jump on him now because sooner or later he's going to be $1,000 more in a blink of an eye.
I mean, he took an 8-minute jump from one game to the next. Usually it's goes from 20 to 22 to 25. He went from 21 to 29 in one game. So what's to say he doesn't play 32, 33, 34 even tonight? And if you're telling me a 5'6" and a 6, a low 6 Marvin Bagley, 6'6" Marvin Bagley isn't intriguing for tournaments, you're crazy considering Dallas sucks. They can't rebound. Bagley's an elite rebounder. He's playing center. He's going to go up against the likes of Dwight Powell, who's not a good rebounder. Maxi Kleber, who is a good rebounder, but he's not going to be able to guard him step for step. No way. Bagley's going to blow by him to the basket. Right. So this is just a really plus matchup for Bagley. Would I go there in cash? No. I would limit it to tournaments, but I'm with you. I think he's an elite tournament play.
Yep, I agree. He's one of my favorite plays of the entire slate. If we're going for value, where you're looking at the power forward position?
I mean, the Saric news obviously, or the Gibson news obviously opens up Dario Saric a little bit. I mean, we saw Saric get up to 28 minutes, and we were just talking about this the other day. They know who Saric is. I was why don't they play him more? And you were well, they know who he is, and you're right. He is who he is. He's not a good defensive player. No secrets with him. Right. So. He's a slasher. Who can kind of shoot. He's a decent rebounder. But I mean, he's not a bad offensive player. If you get him 28 minutes at the price tag, he's decent. I think Kaminsky, another guy at his price tag, decent. I think it makes most sense for Kaminsky to be on the floor tonight guarding Towns than it would Bismack. No chance Bismack could stay step for step with Towns out on the perimeter, and no chance that Hernan Gomez, who's flat-footed, can either. So and I'm not saying Kaminsky's super athletic, but he's more athletic than the other two.
Yeah.
So I could see 30 minutes out of Kaminsky tonight, just basically because Towns is on the floor. So Kaminsky, Saric would be the two power forwards, and then obviously Josh Jackson, who's going to be one of the chalkier plays of the slate. Yeah. I would also be remiss not to mention Mikal Bridges if he starts. And I'm not saying Mikal Bridges is this amazing talent, but he's played 40 minutes in back-to-back games where they haven't gone to overtime. Right. So, if he's starting, I still prefer Jackson, and I know we're at power forward and Bridges is small forward, but
well, he plays both. I mean, it's small forward.
Right. I mean, 40 minutes of a guy who gets steals. He gets a lot of steals. I mean, you've always talked about Mikal Bridges and how good he is of a FanDuel.
It's all about whether or not the scoring comes with him. If the scoring comes with him, then you're fine, because he's going to give you rebounds, going to give you some steals. I talked about this in chat a little bit the other day. I had like a sweat going on FanDuel one night, and I came down to that Phoenix game, and I had Bridges exposure, and I needed Bridges to get over the min drop at the time to start accruing more points and work my way. And he literally, the offense moves away from him. It's like,
I know,
he stands in the corner. If the ball goes to the left, he runs underneath the baseline, stands in the other corner, and like they just wait for like a drive kick out. That's basically all that happens with Bridges. So it's frustrating. There are times obviously where he gets the ball and he slashes on an in cut or something like that, but predominantly the ball does not go to him. And it's not like going to get any better with Josh Jackson on the floor. It's not like they lose Oubre, so now some other offensive dominant player. No, like Josh Jackson come on the floor and just beat Oubre, offensive in terms of volume. So it does suck, but if he gives you 4 or 5 steals like we've seen from him, in the past, to go with a couple of rebounds and like 8 points, he's giving you 30 there, so it works.
Right. I still prefer Jackson, but we definitely should mention Bridges just because, like you said, he's not going to go near the ball. I think he might have some like allergic reaction to the type of leather they use. Also, Paul Millsap, I'll throw him out there for tournaments. I think you can literally play all the Denver like rotational players tonight. I think they're all like elite in either GPPs or cash games, like whatever. That's really it, though. It's not a deep position tonight. I mean, it's definitely deeper than center. I'll tell you that. I hated center after. I mean, I love center from the 8K to 11K range. After that it is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. But at the top of center though, we do have Towns, and that's like the lock and load play. We love attacking the Charlotte, front court. Towns destroyed them for 73 fantasy points in their first matchup. Just all in Towns here for me.
Yeah, I don't need to add anything else.
There's no argument.
Literally all in. He's the top play of the slate, top spend up of the slate. Karl-Anthony Towns, 73 the first time. I wouldn't be shocked if he upped that tonight.
Oh yeah, I agree. If for whatever reason though you are pivoting down, I mean Drummond's in a smash spot. We talked about it, like all of the top centers are in just absolute crush spots. It's all about like roster builds, and while we think Towns is the highest ceiling, like Drummond against Phoenix, great spot. Jokic against Washington, great spot. Gobert against Atlanta, great spot. I mean, it all really depends on your dealer's choice of, how creative you want to get with your lineups. Like if you do think that, Phoenix and Detroit will stay close, then Drummond's probably going to get 60, right? Like he's going to do what he did against Cleveland. He's going to do what he's done against the Lakers. Like 50 to 60 fantasy points is probably like a lock for Drummond, I think, in this matchup. It just, I don't know, because of it, he doesn't like dominate the offensive ball as much like Towns does, where he's going to have that upside. But again, great spot for him. We know the triple-double upside there for Jokic. And you talked about Gobert and what he did to Atlanta in like half a game. So, just all great spots.
I think if you were forcing me to rank
Thomas
them,
Bryant is starting tonight, by the way.
Well, there's your value at center. That's very convenient. And is he starting over Bobby Portis, or is Bobby Portis starting at power forward?
Bobby Portis is starting at power forward, so they're bringing Green and Porter off the bench tonight.
You mean
Jeff Green and Parker. Jeff Green and Parker off the bench.
I was going to say that. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And that's your value center now, clearly, Thomas Bryant. The issue is, like, let's say you're playing on FanDuel. You're not pivoting off Towns to go to Bryant. On DK, I think it makes more sense because that's more value. I also don't know if we need to do it. Do you think we need to do it against Jokic? Play Thomas Bryant?
Not at the position because we want to pay up for center, but I mean, like, if you are game stacking, then
if you're game stacking, right?
But maybe if you're game stacking, if you're game stacking that game, you're probably playing Jokic. So,
but on DraftKings, you can play both. Like on DK, you could play Bryant and Jokic. And it's another, like, I don't want to pivot off of Towns or Jokic or Drummond or Gobert. I don't. And I even said it, like, I put Ayton on the top. I put Len at the top. And Thomas Bryant is obviously now the value at center because he's, like, the only, like, viable starting.
They're starting both of their centers, right? Like, they're starting Portis and they're starting Bryant next to each other. So, like, I mean, unless now Mahinmi becomes, like, a bench option. Not that we're suggesting playing him, but I'm trying to figure out how that rotation works. Right. Like,
you think Bryant comes off the floor? One's going to come off early.
Yeah.
For Jabari, probably.
Yeah.
So my suspicion would be, after seeing Portis play 38 minutes last night, I don't know if they are sticking with Portis playing that many minutes, but Bryant plays the first 5, comes off, Portis shifts to center, and then they swap Portis for Bryant. I don't know. Either way,
I'm gonna see if Bryant has faced Denver already this year. Maybe that matchup has happened. It has not. They have not played against each other. So interesting. It's just interesting to see that's the way they went. So we'll have to monitor. Right? Or I guess again, I'm not saying play Bryant, but he's done well when he's played a lot of minutes this year. So it's at least intriguing.
It's not that it's not intriguing either, and I agree with you. I'm just having a hard time not playing the top guys. Like, imagine being without one of those 4 guys. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, they all have potential to go for 60. And sure, Thomas Bryant did do that once this year. Granted, it was like a double overtime game where he went 14 of 14 from the floor.
Yeah.
But we have the 2 best, 4 of the top 7 or 8 plays on the entire slate at center. So I don't know. If you're punting center, Thomas Bryant's the play. If you're not, you spend up and you move on, and you don't need to worry about Thomas Bryant against Nikola Jokic.
Pretty much. Any final thoughts here?
No. Lineups are out, and I'm going to make pivots now. I just wanted to get lineups out, and then pivots come out after the live stream in case anything, went down.
Major happened?
Yeah, just in case something went down.
All right. That's it. We'll talk to you all later. Guess your questions in subscriber chat. We'll answer them, and good luck, everybody.
Later, guys.